Biographical Briefing, Thomas Jefferson. Background: Thomas Jefferson was born in Virginia in 1743. When his father died in 1757, Jefferson inherited a great deal of property. 3 years later, he entered the College of William and Mary, where he studied law. In 1769, he was elected to the Virginia State Legislature. 6 years later, he was appointed to the Virginia delegation of the Second Continental Congress. During this time, his skills as a writer were recognized, and he was selected as the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. After the American Revolution, Jefferson served as the U.S. Minister to France until President Washington called him back to serve as the country's first Secretary of State. Jefferson served as Vice President under John Adams, and then in 1800 he was elected third President of the United States. He served 2 terms as president and then retired to his Virginia plantation, Monticello. Ironically, Jefferson died on July 4th, 1826, the 50th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. View of the nature of human beings. Despite Jefferson's well-to-do upbringing, he was a strong believer in the abilities of the common man. He was convinced that people, when given enough information on an issue, were capable of making smart decisions. On the other hand, he believed that power concentrated in the hands of a few leaders was dangerous. Jefferson thought that people who had too much power might be tempted to govern for their own benefit and not do what was best for everyone. Therefore, according to Jefferson, the power of any government must ultimately rest with the people, so that all interests are represented. The purpose of the government, he believed, is to carry out the wishes of the people. Best type of government. Because he believed in the ability of people to govern themselves, Jefferson favored giving more power to state governments. Jefferson felt that government power should not be concentrated in one central or federal government, but should be spread among the individual states as well. Similarly, he thought states should give decision-making power to their various communities. In this way, the power to govern and make decisions would lie in the hands of the people whose lives were most affected by those decisions. Jefferson realized that the Articles of Confederation had some serious problems. He was not, like some, ready to get rid of it entirely. He liked how the Articles protected the rights of states and individuals from being taken over by a powerful federal government. Constitution. When the members of the Constitutional Convention wrote the Constitution, Jefferson was serving as the minister to France. Upon learning of the details of the Constitution, Jefferson generally accepted it. However, he did have 2 serious concerns. First, Jefferson was uncomfortable knowing that the Constitution placed no limit on the number of 4-year terms that a president could serve. He feared that one man could be elected over and over and become like a king. Second, Jefferson was critical of the fact that the Constitution contained no Bill of Rights to protect citizens' rights. Without one, he was afraid that the rights of individuals might be abused by the federal government. Not surprisingly, Jefferson strongly supported the addition of the Bill of Rights to the Constitution. In addition, Jefferson believed that the federal government only had powers that were specifically spelled out in the Constitution. His belief was supported by the 10th Amendment to the Constitution, which states that the powers not specifically given to the federal government belong to the states respectively or to the people. This narrow or strict interpretation of the Constitution clearly limited the power of the federal government. Political party. Jefferson's beliefs about strong states' rights, limited powers for the federal government, and a strict interpretation of the Constitution were contrary to the ideas of many members of George Washington's administration. However, many other political leaders of the time agreed with Jefferson, and they formed their own party. They called their party the Democratic Republicans. Not surprisingly, Jefferson became the party's leader. Ideal economy. Jefferson also had strong views about America's economy. Like his political philosophy, Jefferson felt that the uncommon man should be at the center of the U.S. economy. He envisioned a country filled with small, independent farmers. Since these people were their own bosses, Jefferson believed they would work hard and create prosperous lives for themselves. This would allow the entire nation to prosper as a whole. Because individuals would be largely self-sufficient, the federal government would not have to take an active role in the economy, thus limiting its powers. The job of the government then would be to do little more than to keep the country safe and secure from foreign threats.